Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. We will just give it another couple of minutes until, let's say, 3:05, just for everybody to join the meeting, and then we'll get started. Thank you. Right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another session of TotalCAD's user group webinars. I'm Willem Viviers. I'm the inland representative for TotalCAD Solution Center, and I'll be your host for this session. Please note that these sessions are CPD accredited, which is the information we request when you register for this webinar. So in the session, we're going to be looking at Archicad add-ons, which maximize your efficiency as well as speed up your projects. At the end, that means saving you time, saving you money. Then looking at the agenda, we will have a quick presentation on the CI Tools add-ons. The interview we will also have with one of our clients using the CI Tools. And we have a very special announcement around pricing. Please stay tuned, followed by a Q&A session, and we'll have some closing comments and remarks as we go along. So without further delay, let me introduce our presenter, Thomas Ackerman. He is a AEC test engineer for Central Innovation based locally in South Africa. He's an architect and a BIM specialist, and he will demo and highlight some of the tools that will save you some time. So sit back and enjoy. Thomas, over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I hope we can have some meaningful contributions to your workflows that might show you how you can save time and just general frustration. So I'm going to run through a couple of the tools. The first one that I'd like to look at is probably the one that you would potentially use the least, but if anyone, and I'm going to ask it, has anyone on this meeting ever had to had a client that asked for you to please mirror the entire project? So you're busy with municipal drawings and suddenly the client decides, oh, I want to mirror it. It's something that typically happens in practices that would deal with high density units and that kind of thing, where you need to mirror things and mirror particular typologies of a building. So I don't know if there's anyone who's had that experience, but what I want to show you is here we have a almost completed municipal drawings project. Everything's modeled, everything's nicely done. We've got our plans, elevations, sections, sewer lines, everything is in, and suddenly the client says to you, I think we should put the building the other way around. So what you can do in that instance is the transformer tool allows you to mirror the entire project. Now, it might seem quite simple, but let's look at the magic. So I'm going to tell it I want to mirror the entire project about this line. Obviously, you won't mirror your site. You could mirror your site back after the fact, but I'm going to click and then we'll wait. And what's happening in the background now is every single section, every single elevation, every single detail, interior elevation, the entire project has now been mirrored. So if you look at this, I actually want to see if I can quickly, I'm not sure if this is an undoable, no, it's not an undoable, but what has happened now is the entire project that you just saw in 3D has now mirrored about that axis. And the real magic, I'll show you in a moment on the elevations and sections. So let's just give it a moment. It's just getting its head about itself. So there we can see the entire project has been mirrored. Now, mirroring 3D objects, yes, that's something impressive. But the fact that the justification of your text on your sections and elevations has even mirrored. So the text that had that was right justified is now left justified and vice versa. And every single aspect of the building has been mirrored with one click. I think it's not something that a lot of people might have to do, but the power of this tool, if you are ever in a situation where that needs to happen, is absolutely unmissable. So I'm going to just bring this one over because I've got a couple of projects that I need to open. So just give me a second. I just want to see file open. I want to go to that one. Just give me a second. I just want to make sure that I'm opening the right one. Let me open this one. Okay, so I'm not going to save on that project. The next one that I want to show you, probably the most popular 3i Tools tool is the doors and windows tool, just for its sheer ability to provide you with a variety of options in terms of doors and window configurations that are sometimes quite difficult to generate with the native Archicad doors and windows. I just also want to highlight the fact that it is extremely simple to use. It's slightly different in the sense that you construct the door. So if I were to select, for instance, this one with this angled side, overhead light, and I bring the settings window over to you for you here, you'll see that the actual configuration is something that you build up with different panels that you can add or subtract. But the ability to control doors and windows, the frames, the glazing, door leaves, the flexibility that it gives you allows for almost every and any single permutation that you can think of. And I just want to zoom out quickly. I just want to check. Previously, on a previous occasion, someone asked, can it do a corner door, stacking door without a mullion in the corner? And the answer is yes. So I thought I'd just highlight that for you. That's something that's usually quite difficult to achieve with the native Archicad doors and windows. And the other thing that I'd like to point out is that it is excruciatingly easy to schedule it. I believe that this would be the schedule. There's an internal scheduling tool, and you can generate schedules with notes, just like you would in native Archicad environment. Far more flexibility, and you can put doors on window schedules and windows on door schedules if you choose to do so, which is something that the native Archicad sometimes struggles with, or is basically impossible to do. So if you have windows attached to doors, the windows will go to the window schedule and the doors will go to the door schedule. Here you can manipulate whichever way you want them. You can obviously close them with model view options. All of those kind of fun things are available to you. The next one that I want to show you, just allow me a moment to check where we're at. Yes, okay. I would like this one to open the roof coverings. I want to just show you some of the latest developments that we've done. If any of you are involved in work that is intensely focused on landscaping. So what I'm just going to dwell on this one for a little while. What I tried to do here is I took a typical landscape plan that would be produced by a landscape architect, and I went and I said, okay, so how difficult is it to generate that? Now, what I want to show you is not the fact that only that it's populated in a very similar way. I'd like to show you how it populates so quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete a whole bunch of these things. Then I'm going to say, right, the first one is that you can populate, and this is the sites tool, but it's not only applicable to sites objects. There are varied options that you could potentially use this tool for. But what I would like to show you is, for instance, I can go into the sites here, and so I would like to place plants within this selected fill. I've got a couple of favorites that I saved beforehand. I just want to check which one is the one that I want. I think actually this is the one that I selected. So this is the one that I want. And we can just, I'm just going to make it slightly bigger. You can see that there's also an option to vary the sizing. So there's a 30% deviation in sizing either way. That gives you a little bit more of a natural feel of what it is. And I just say, okay, I want to populate this area. It allows me to set them in a grid. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to do them, I think we said 500, so I'll do them at a 450 spacing. And we can deviate the position by 150 millimeters. That's just to create a little bit of randomness. And with one click, I have populated that entire fill with planting. Now, the next step that I'd like to show you is that the same principle applies to, for instance, lines, polylines, and splines. I can go and I can go CI Tools, Sites, place a plants along a selected line or arc, and I think this one is named something like tree left. Sorry, let me just go to my favorites. You can use the Archicad native plants if you wish. This is not specifically related to only the CI Tools library, but the CI Tools library contains a massive amount of plants that would overlap with the South African market. So the Sites tool allows for that. So I'm just going to say, right, I want these trees, and I think a 4.5 meter spacing should be enough. Let me just check. And voila. Oops, there we go. 4.5 meter spacing. Nice shadows being cast. The whole shebang. Shadows are controllable. Can we switch them off? You could even select a line, a spline, and a polyline at the same time and say, CI Tools, please go and populate this for me. Place it along a line or arc. And let's go choose something interesting. Just give me a moment. Let's go for something like this. Perhaps I just want to check the sizing. Yes, okay. And we click there. We can once again control the spacing and how it populates along the line. What is the difference? Is it no more than? Is it exact? And I just click once and it populates on that line. And there we go. Another thing that I'd like to just show you about this particular aspect is if you have populated them into your landscaping plan, the plants are obviously placed in a 2D environment on one single level, where now you can see that these plants are submerged into the ground. A nice little aspect of the Sites tool that allows you to control that is you can just select all these objects. I just don't want to select those. Let me just, okay, so what I can do is this, for instance, sorry. I'm just going to say, just show me this. And with one click of a button, I go CI Tools, Sites, and please elevate the plants to a mesh surface. Now it is finding every single plant and it is moving that origin point up or down, depending on where it was placed, onto the mesh. And there we go. All our plants are now configured. And if I were to want them to face me, I can just go and rebuild this 3D view, and all the plants, the 2D aspect of it will show to me. You can also see that there's a secondary part to it that actually always will point to the sun, because we've indicated that we want these plants to cast a shadow, and that shadow is generated by a secondary polygon. Exciting news perhaps about the Sites tool is that we are currently working on a interface where you would be able to generate your own plants. So you could find an image of your particular blue gum tree that you want on your site, and you can then be working on a tool that will allow you to create a polygon. So in other words, create this 2D outline as well as then the 3D object from there. I just want to also show you that in elevation, obviously the new plants that I placed, I can just select these groups and I can change their appearance in this view, and I can say I would like you to be a titanium white or whatever I want them to be. And your elevations can even include planting. You can make it translucent. You can control the pen types, the whole shebang of that. The next thing that I think I should just quickly mention before we move on to site boundaries is a nifty little, I know for a lot of practices, it's very difficult to control your the amount of hours, or necessarily quantify the amount of hours that you spend on a project, which is typically something that influences budgets. We've developed a little time tracker tool that allows you to enter a, let's say, for instance, house 123, and I'm working on landscape plan. It's not a policing tool, so it's not controlled from anywhere else. And I just click play, and this runs. If I move on to something else, I type something else in, I can pause that and I can export this to software. Most time cracking software can actually import CSV files, so you can export this file, and you have a record, comma separated file of your time that you spent on a particular project. Another aspect of the sites tool that I'd like to highlight for you, just in terms of time saving, is how easy it is to control site boundaries. So what I'm going to do, let me just, give me a moment. I just want to make sure that I don't spoil the surprise. I'm just going to take it to the other window because I don't want you to necessarily see the magic before it happens. Okay. So what I've got here is a site that allows me to now, I've changed some of the elevations of the site, so there's a little bit of a gradient on it. And the sites tool allows you to place boundaries from the actual mesh that you've modeled. So if you go to sites and you just say, I would like to create boundaries from polygon, and you click on that, it places the boundaries for you, and they are obviously editable. They in fact have a 3D object that is also placed in 3D that you can hide, but there is an actual object that is now part of your project, and you can, at a click of a button, say, right, I want to actually change the distance on that particular side. We've got a 3.5 meter boundary. Click OK, and it automatically updates. You'll just have to manually just move those lines, but it updates from there. You also have the ability to go to a site boundary editor. Let me just quickly select here. Tool site boundary editor, where you can actually change the I think I might have to have them selected. So let me just do that. Okay. Tool sites. Where in the site boundary editor you have the ability to change bearings, distances, lengths, etc., etc. Another nifty part of this aspect of the tool is once you have placed these site boundaries, you actually, as in a lot of the town planning or estate guideline restrictions, there's a height limit or even sometimes a daylight angle limit of what you're allowed, what the envelope of the building is allowed to be. And there's a wonderful little tool that you just click and you place a building envelope. And if we go to 3D, sorry, I don't think I placed it. I just want to do that quickly. CI tools, building envelope, sites, building envelope. You should have a 3D view now of, oh, that's interesting. Hang on, give me a seckie. CI tools, sites, building. It's always the, when you're presenting, oh, there we go. Okay, sorry. I'm not looking at the error message that I'm getting on the other side. Place building envelope. There's a height, rolling height restriction that you can put in, not 50 meters, 5 meters seems normal. And once that's placed, we've got a building envelope that respects the site boundaries and also respects daylight angles. You can obviously make those daylight angles 0 if it's just having to follow the mesh, and it will duplicate every single contour that you have on your mesh onto this. You can see the diagonal contour running over the top there. That's on our mesh. So that allows you to very quickly and easily place your sound boundaries, edit them, create the building envelope, quite a nifty little time saver. And that can obviously be then displayed on 2D sections, elevations, etc., if you would choose to do so. The next aspect that I would like to highlight is something that I feel is a big time saver. I'm just going to do a delete here. So the coverings tool, the CI tools coverings tool consists of three main aspects. Let me just get, I'm just for that sake going to draw a wall and a slab quickly here. But what I'd like to show you is there's in the coverings tool, you've got column coverings, roof coverings, slab coverings, and wall coverings, of which the most used ones are probably the roof slab and wall coverings. But one of them that really stands out for me as a time-saving tool is the roof coverings tool. So with a Archicad roof selected, what I've got here just to show you is a normal Archicad roof. I'm just going to show it to you in 3D quickly. So this is a normal Archicad native roof. I select that roof and I just for saving time have a one or two favorites already saved. But I could, for instance, now say, okay, I would like to place a tiled roof on here. So I'm just going to show you that it actually shows you a little bit of a preview of what you could potentially expect it to look like. We have a overall configuration. I'm not going to go into too much detail, like gable, hip and gable, monopitch, etc. There is a whole range of choice of claddings, for instance, corrugated metal. The typical stuff that we use in South Africa would probably be tiles, Spanish tiles, your rib metal for your IBRs and so forth, and your corrugated metal. You have a whole range of options with regards to flashings, the subframing. You could even put in soffits. We don't technically generally do that in South Africa, but you could place a soffit underneath the eaves. There's a whole bunch of control on your barge boards, your edge boards. If you were to have a fascia board at the top of a ridge, gutter options, square, ogee, colonial, half round, quarter round. I think you guys get the idea. Downpipes, the whole thing. But this is really the magic for me, is you take this and you set up your configuration for your roof. Okay, sorry, I'm running out of space here to click OK. And I click OK. I get a message that tells me something's happened on a story above, potentially. And there it is. And I say continue. And I just want to quickly go check here. Story. I just want to place this roof on the home story ground. Story current. I want to chase it to ground floor. And that should automatically show me in plan view. But now if I were to go and show you what has happened in 3D, I think it's pretty amazing. Let's just delete those for now. Okay, so what we've got here is a roof with actual tile profile, actual gutter profile, fascia board, barge, the whole shebang. And all you need to do is just make sure that this is on a layer that you don't want to see. And we're just going to switch off this roof, and then we can see even the magic from underneath. So if I just switch the hidden off, you'll see that we've even got our battens placed in. And if I were to go to section, it really is something amazing to behold. I mean, you've got everything that can be that is related to the roof. So in South Africa, typically that would be, I can quickly change that for you. It's not a big deal. Let's do that. So that I want like the fascia boards to actually be that way. and 3, 2. It's updating in 3D all around, obviously. So it's going to take a second or two to do that. And I just want to switch my hidden layer off again. And just to put it in full perspective, now let's do this. Sorry, that's the Archicad roof. I say, okay, but where's my gutter, my downpipes? And I grab and I pull the downpipe to where I want it to be. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just want to make sure I grab the right point. Grab the right one. There we go. So we can line it up to that one. And if I were to go to 3D, magically, we've got controllable downpipes with hangers. I can add a shoe to that just in the settings. Very easy to do. The nice thing about this is it's done a valley flashing where there's valleys. It does hip roofs. It does gable roofs. Easy, very quickly. You can even schedule the building material for your QS out of this. And extract volumes of building materials if you've managed that correctly. I just want to show you the same thing for, typically we've got a mono pitch roof and we want to place a corrugated iron on it, coverings. I just want to do a roof covering and I want to do a corrugated sheet metal roof. And I wanted to have, as you can see, a nice flat rectangular flashings, nice color scheme, all of that. Click OK. And I'm deliberately showing you how it's getting some aspect of it wrong so that I can show you how easy it is to fix it. Oh, it's the same story. I placed this on the story above. Sorry, apologies, guys. I'm just going to move it quickly. One thing to keep in mind is that the Archicad roof generates the covering. So that whatever you do to the Archicad roof, you will see reflect on your covering. So for instance, if I were to select this Archicad roof and I go and I say, oh, I actually want you to stretch in this direction. It'll take a moment, but it will immediately update the coverings to whatever I adjust the Archicad roof to. So now we can see, oh, it's not completely sure what to do on the ridge that we've got here on our typical veranda. It's not happy. It's done the wrong thing. It's not. So what I can do is I can actually go and specify what the edges are. So CI tools coverings, edit roof covering edges, and I can immediately go and say, you know what, actually, that is a junction between two roofs, and I would like you to change it. And immediately changed in 2D view, changed in 3D view. Beautiful flashing and ridge. Okay. Willem, I'm just thinking that if you can let me know if our other guest is ready, then I can pause, but I can go on right now. Would you like me to go on?
Our guest is ready, but I think maybe if you could just finish up with your presentation, and then
okay.
we'll get
no problem.
The next speaker in. Thank you.
I don't know if this is true for anyone else, but generally speaking, doing electrical layouts is not necessarily the most exciting thing to do. I just want to check something here. Okay, I'm just going to do this electrical select circuit and delete that. The first thing I want to show you is just how easy it is to do a specific plug point switch in the South African context. Recently, we actually added the to the electrical tool a whole South African plug point library. I just want to show you over here. So interestingly enough, India has overlap with us in terms of its switches and so forth. So important to note that they actually are 3D elements. So if I were to go, for instance, common switches, it's a 3D and a 2D symbol. I think you guys get the idea of what we're talking about here. Then there's mixed switches. And just for fun, I saved the favorite earlier of a mixed jack point, which is typically the HDMI, satellite TV, USB, data outlet point. I just thought it'd be fun to do one of those because that's always a pain to get right. And now you have a 2D and 3D element of it. So if I were to now place this by holding spacebar and I click there, it will snap to the wall and it indicates all of that in 2D, but included with the special TV offer, we also have a beautiful 3D, 3D of that. The next aspect of this that I'd like to show you is by using any Archicad lamps, for instance, I can go here and say, okay, I want to place a, let's just go and check here. I want to, for instance, go and place a, I don't know, particularly like that ceiling light. And I'm going to just say, okay, I want that in the bathroom. And I want to say, okay, give me a plug as well. Sorry, a light switch. I want to have a single light switch on the outside of the hold space bar. Oops, hold space bar. And it clicks there. Now, if I want to do the wiring, I can, for instance, go and select all the lamps. I'm just going to not select that one. And I'm going to say this light switch controls all of those lights, CI tools, and look how quickly I can do it and save time. I just say add wiring. I've got some options with regards to what I want to add. I want to add a dash dot line and I want a 200 millimeter wire bending. And I click OK and it automatically does the wiring. And for me, this is the kicker. If you move anything in plan and 3D, it's now associated with it. You have done your electrical layout and your electrical, hopefully your electrical layouts won't be such a pain to do with this tool. Electrical, add wiring, click OK, and voila. Lastly, just before we hand over to Shelley, I just want to, we did talk about this in a previous presentation. I'm just going to show you this because after the interview with Shelley, I'd like to just mention something about this. So this is the fit out tool. So I've selected in the fit out tool a small bathroom as part of my favorites. Bathroom small, there we go. And I'm going to say, okay, place bathroom objects for me in here. And it will try and find the most sensible space for that. So it would try and always put the shower in the corner, WC preferably to outside wall, but and then it needs to have a mirror above. So it does that. Same here. If I were to try this with the, for instance, I can say I want a double bedroom and click OK. And I can see that it's also going to place curtains. So I just say, okay, place it there for me. Okay, I'm not particularly fond of this item here. Sorry, I'm going to move it. Oh, sorry, I'm moving the whole thing. I want to move this particular aspect of our fit out to a different spot. And the moment I get close to the wall, it realizes, oh, I must be the other way around, and it snaps the other way around. So I think a big time saver in terms of concept stage, you can populate a plan very quickly, save time, just have proof of concept. The room is big enough. We can figure out which particular bed and which particular lampshades and so forth later, but proof of concept. Oh, just also maybe to point this out to you. Come on, select. These are full-fledged 3D objects with curtains, mirrors, taps. So if you were to do interior elevations or anything with it, it's there. I'm going to stop presenting now. I think there's one or two things that I would like to mention, Willem, but we can, I think, park it for now.
Right. Thank you very much, Thomas. Appreciate your presentation. So next up, guys, let me just present mine here again. So next up, we have one of our existing clients using CI tools who I would like to introduce. Sorry, go to the correct slide. So thanks for joining us today. And sorry, Shelley, are you there?
I am, yes. Do you want me to?
That's
I'll
perfect.
put my camera on. There you go.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. All right. So thank you for joining us today, Shelley. We thought it would be great for everyone to hear some or directly from one of the clients using the add-ons and in their practice. And yeah, thank you again for being here. So maybe you could maybe just start by telling us a little bit about your firm, where you're based, and maybe the kind of projects you typically would be working on.
Okay, thank you. I'm Shelley and my company is called Yenis Architects. We are based in Paarl, more specifically in Paarl Valley Golf Estate. And when we started, well, I've been in practice for quite some time, but when moving here, we were mostly involved with residential homes, new builds, additions, and so on. And then we established a very good relationship with the estate itself. So we are handling the main clubhouse refurbishment, a mixed-use building, maintenance facility, recreational facilities. Yeah, a few things around the golf course itself. So our main focus is that. And then on the side, we've got other projects outside Paarl as well, mostly residential and some industrial as well.
Wow, great. Yeah, that's quite a variety of projects types, I would say.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that. So I think it'd be interesting to just get an idea, which Archicad version did you start on and get an idea of how long you've been using Archicad?
I started on Archicad 16, if I'm not mistaken, many years ago.
Yes.
And I've simply refused to look at any other platform at university. Obviously, I have to consider things like Revit and whatnot. I think I opened it for 5 minutes and closed it again. And just wish more of South Africa would use Archicad because obviously it's so architecture related and just the way of thinking and using it is very architectural based, where Revit does not make any sense to me, but yes.
Well, I couldn't agree anymore. I think there's a lot we could discuss around that topic, but yes, I do agree. Market could be different. I think there's a bit of a perspective or perception, should I say. Anyhow, let's move on because I think that could be a whole session on its own.
Yes.
So how long have you been using CI tools for?
You guys released or made notice of it, what was it, like 4 or 5 months ago? And I think I subscribed just over 3 months ago. And at the time, we were actually starting the mixed-use building, which consists of a very big spa, a gym, retail space, office space, conference area, underground parking, and so on. And that's when I actually, yeah, I needed CI tools to make it quicker and simpler for us.
Great. So from your experience, which of the tools do you find yourself that you use most, or the ones that would save you most of the time?
Well, the first one that I found like a lifesaver was, and I actually forgot about it, was that the doors tool to do a corner door that's, with no mullion. So that's absolutely amazing. And to be able to manipulate and shift and design the doors as you want, as opposed to the standard, as you would refer to, native Archicad tools. But with this specific design, the fit out tool helped us a lot, specifically with the spa and the offices, is not to have to, that takes up a lot of time to put down furniture and all of that for concept visualization. And especially with the consulting room, like the doctor's room, that it puts the little bed down, the examination bed, and the little privacy curtain, and the curtains, it snaps to the curtains as well. It puts curtains in front of the windows, and it really looks good. So use that. And then, sorry, my AirPod just fell out. We also used the covering tool. I just refer it to as the roof tool, but that saves a hell of a lot of time, and it looks so much better. With the fascias, the downpipes, and the roof resembling what it actually looks like, as opposed to the flat materials.
Yes, sure. Great. Yeah, I would say that sounds like the most popular tools amongst all of them.
Yeah.
So just
very excited about the time tracker that you guys have built in, because a lot of the people that work for us work remote, and it's not always easy to capture time, and they forget to capture time. So that's going to be a lifesaver, definitely.
Yeah, well, I suppose depends on how things were negotiated, but if you're billing according to time spent, I think it is a crucial point to be managing properly as well.
Yeah, a lot of these, a lot of people that work for companies also nowadays, being remote, they normally bill you for their time, consultancy basis, like, technologists, draftsmen, even architects. So it's just easier to capture their time, not only billing your clients, but getting billed as an architectural firm by a consultant.
That's true. Yes. Good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
All right. So just two more questions. So would you then, in other words, say that the CI tools have made a difference in your day-to-day work and your project delivery overall?
Oh, yes, massively. Definitely.
Great. It's good to hear that. And then the last one, I think you could maybe guess the question, but would you recommend these tools to any other Archicad users?
I would say it's a must. You mustn't even think about that. It's not worth it. It's definitely a must. If it's, it's a subscription monthly, you guys might change it to something else or whatever. But if you take the time that you save, as opposed to what that subscription costs you, it really, the one definitely outweighs the other. So yes, it's an absolute thumbs up from my side.
Right. Thank you very much for your time, Shelley. Much
welcome.
Appreciated. So I think before I go on to my next slide, I will just ask Thomas to just quickly mention something around sorry, forgot.
No worries. I'll take it. So what, there's not too much that I can say at this stage, except for the fact that there's some exciting things in the pipeline with regards to the fit out tool, that I think will open a lot of doors for a lot of people in terms of the flexibility of it. And lastly, I think I should mention, this is obviously a very difficult aspect with regards to changing from now 28 to 29 that's coming out in October. I just want to mention that we have, the moment you sign up for CI tools without having to install any or purchase any of the tools, the Launchpad is automatically installed, and the Launchpad contains a couple of things that are nice to have that we are placing there that we want to then potentially develop further, but we'll never remove them from Launchpad. They might migrate to a different tool and get further developed there, but what was in Launchpad will stay in Launchpad. And there's a migration option that allows you to, for instance, take a project from an earlier version into 28 at this point in time, because obviously this is in 28, And what it does is it matches the name of the object in your Archicad file to the name of that object in the new library or the new lib pack that has come in with 28. So it's not foolproof, but I did a migration earlier today and it found 147 of 153 objects and replaced them with the correct library part. So if you are struggling with the migration with library objects disappearing because of the migration change between 27 and 28, this is maybe something that you get it for free. You click migrate library parts and it just tries to match everything in your project to another the same or similar object in the new library within the parameters and everything being transferred. So the door widths, the door swings, everything just transfers into the new object. Willem, I think that was pretty much it that I wanted to say.
That is it, Thomas. Thank you so much. I did want to mention the Launchpad and the migrating of libraries. So just to clarify, there's no easy way of replacing Archicad 27 library parts with Archicad 28 library parts other than a manual process, which is time consuming. Alternatively, the CI Tools Launchpad, which is free, can help you save a lot of time doing that. So currently how it should work is while you're working on a project that was migrated from earlier versions called 27, load your Archicad 27 libraries, carry on in 28 with 27 libraries, and then when you start the new project, carry on with Archicad 28 libraries. So also, I don't think that's ideal. You might want to benefit out of the latest library parts offered in the latest version. If that's the case, I would propose to maybe consider getting the Launchpad. It would definitely make some save some time in your office doing manual updating of library parts, which should not actually be done. Right, guys, then I'd like to just get to the end of my presentation. So I think you all may be waiting to see what the special announcement would be. And we are very happy to announce two things. First of all, we have reduced the pricing of CI tools in South Africa. If you don't know this already, we are the local distributors of CI tools as well. Thomas is the local representative for any technical assistance required. Even us, we could help and direct you to the right people, but we do have local support if necessary. So that's the first thing. I think that's great. We've reduced it with more or less 20%. Second part is we have a special on top of that reduction. You can save a further 25% off the reduced price. Please note it's limited time offer. It's only valid until the end of September. So please hurry. If you have any questions, if you need any more information, a tailored demo even, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We'd be happy to assist you in any of your queries or anything you might want clarity on. I just quickly thank Thomas. I will give you a second now. I'm going to stop this sharing, and I'd just like to show you guys on our website. Our store is live, where you could go and purchase your CI tool packages, whether you can choose between 2 tools, 5 tools, or all the tools. I think Thomas can tell us more that Keynote is included to all of these. And furthermore, we also have Archicad Studio and Collaborate that we could purchase online. So these have already been reduced with a 20% as well as a 25% on top of that. So I just want to maybe mention that to get the most out of this, it's only per term. So if you purchase a monthly license, your second month license would be full price. So to get most value, I would recommend taking an annual subscription, which would give you that 25% discount off your entire year. After that, then we'll go to the full price. So I think it may not be very clear, and I just thought I'd clear that up. For full or for the most value, the annual subscription might make more sense. Yes, Thomas.
I just wanted to mention that if anyone is utilizing the technology preview for 29, if you want to experiment with the tools, we have made them available for 29 for the technology preview. So as long as the technology preview runs, which is till the first week of October, you will have access to the tools. They will just cease working when the technology preview stops working. So if you want to have a go at it and perhaps see what is out there, there's a whole range of other tools that you can go and look at. So they will stop working with the technology preview. So you'll have to spend the money before the 30th of September. And then lastly, I think what I can also maybe just do, there are a whole range of videos available on our YouTube channel. So I'm just going to pop that in the chat for you as well. If you want to make use of the technology preview tools, it's not an automatic installation, but you can just email Joshua Osborne at centralinnovation.com that I've placed in the chat for that if you are interested in having the technology preview run with the tools.
Yes, thank you, Thomas, for reminding us about the preview offer. So guys, just quickly, sorry, I thought I was sharing my screen earlier when I mentioned it. So here's our website, our store. You can purchase any of the 3 different CI tool packages, either a basic, pro, or premium package, depending on the amount of tools that you require. And you'll note that we have already put the discounted rate in here and the further discount valid until the end of September only. So, yes, guys, that brings me to the end of the presentation. And, oh, sorry. There we go. Thanks for joining us in this webinar, and a special thanks to Thomas for presenting the CI tools to us, as well as to Shelley sharing some of her experience that she's found with using the CI tools. We really hope that you are inspired to discover new ways to save time. Don't forget, our special promotional is valid only until September. So for more details or information, please reach out to us. Contact us through the website, email us, give us a call, WhatsApps, whichever way, we'll be happy to assist. So guys, if there are any questions, we could now have a look at answering any of those. I don't know if there are any questions. Doesn't look like it. Cheap round.
I just wanted to mention that if you are planning to purchase, say, for instance, the Basic 2, Basic 5, and you are unsure of which particular tool would be beneficial to your practice, I'm more than willing to have a conversation with you about that. I've popped my email address. Just pop me a mail and we can start a conversation about that telephonically or via email.
Yes, maybe I could maybe show that on my screen very quickly, that if you go onto our website under CI tools, you could go and see all the different tools available. So there's quite a couple of tools that you could choose from, depending on where it could save time for you.
Yeah.
Right. Again, thank you everybody for joining. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you next session. Thank you, Thomas.
Yes, bye.
Francois, sorry, Francois, I see you've got a question. Oh, no, I think that was a goodbye. All right, thanks everybody.
Wait, hang on, Graham is typing. Let's just see, is it a question? maybe not.
Yeah,
Pleasure,
no
Graham.
problem. Thanks, Graham.
Cheers, guys.